I picked up the original Binding of Isaac game on PC a while ago. I think it was just something that I saw on sale, thought it was cool. I played the original game a little bit, never got that deep into it. I always thought it was really neat, but it was really when Rebirth came out on PlayStation that I dove in head over heels and have not stopped playing since then. This game came out last November, I do believe, and I cannot remember a night that I haven't played at least one game of Binding of Isaac Rebirth before I went to bed. I've literally been playing this game over almost every single day since it came out. I think I've probably put more hours into this game on PlayStation than I have any other game I've ever played. It is the perfect Vita game. So when I, reading about this DLC coming out, hearing that it was going to be on PC first, I'm like, you know what the hell? I'm going to buy Rebirth on my Mac, and then I'll be ready for when the DLC came out. And that was an awesome choice, because this DLC expansion pack, whatever you want to call it, is amazing. The amount of sheer stuff that they have added into the game is awesome. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit in depth into each of the different things, maybe some of the items I really like, and just... it's already obvious. I really like this game. But, Greed Mode is the new mode that was added into this. Which is, it's really, really different than the base game. You enter a large room, and there's 2 locked rooms off to your right, and then a large shop up to the top. And you step on a button in the middle, and as you've probably seen in some of my past videos, you step on a button in the middle, and enemies start to spawn in, increasing waves until you get to a couple different bosses at the end. And each wave, you're given a certain amount of coins that you can use to spend in the shop. And, at least the way I believe it is, this could be wrong, but I think that you get more coins for, the more waves you continue to go, and then if you end up stopping a wave before all of them are done, you end up losing half a heart. So it's very much like a risk-reward kind of thing, and I've really been enjoying it. Probably one of my favorite parts of the downloadable content that was added. And also you get to see a lot of the new items through this. You're kind of just walking to the shop and it's like, well, I haven't seen that item before. So you pick to buy that one, and you end up trying out all these brand new items that were added to the DLC instead of just playing the base game and hoping to find those items. And also, the final boss for Greed Mode is really... actually, pretty much both of the final bosses that they've added into the DLC, at least both the final bosses that I played, the Greed final boss is really hard. I ended up beating him while using Azazel, and you had to do that to unlock one of the new characters, Lilith. So I ended up beating him pretty easy with him, but most other playthroughs I get through playing as, Isaac or any other characters, I have a hard time beating him, which is really awesome that they added this downloadable content and this stuff is more difficult, because it's you feel like, I've been playing the game for so long, it's become such muscle memory. It's really awesome to have new stuff in there that makes the game feel completely different, mainly just more difficult. So the other final boss that I kind of hinted at before is called Hush, which, another one, I've beaten Ultra Greed once. I have not yet been able to beat Hush. Hush is really, really hard. I've maybe fought him 3 or 4 times, and each time I'll get him about halfway down, but it is taking a while. But I plan to beat him at some point. I think both of those final bosses are completely different than any boss in the game. It is an awesome new addition with both of those different guys. The daily runs that they have added, I think, are really fun. Each one is... you play as, a different character that's set up for each day, and I think it's the same, everyone's playing the same seed. And it's really neat to, play that, see how your scores add up to everybody else, and it's just kind of like a neat little addition. So now we're going to talk about the 2 new characters, Lilith and Keeper. I have not unlocked Keeper yet. You get Keeper by, I think, putting 1,000 coins into the greed machine you see in those rooms. So that's going to take a little while. But Lilith is really, really neat. Very difficult. I feel like I haven't been able to get the feel of her yet. She plays where you have a buddy that seems to be definitely doing more damage than the normal buddies do, but then you have a power-up button that when you, I think it takes 4 rooms to recharge, and then when you can recharge it, you hit it and it doubles whatever buddies you have, which is really useful. I would normally keep that for the boss and work on the other guys just with the main buddy, and then when I get to the boss, I double my buddies, and then I have, 2, 4, what have you, whatever amount that I have at the moment. So those are just some of the new, people that were added, but there has been a ton of new items. It's hard to even, come here and talk about them. I was going to kind of mention just some of my favorites that at least I've seen so far. One of the the main coolest is called the Friendly Ball, which is pretty much a Pokeball. You throw it at an enemy and it captures it, and then you can later release it to, and it will be charmed during that room. Use it to fight for you, I guess. I like the Jar of Flies a lot. Instead of just adding a fly each room when you use the I forget the name of the normal fly generator that was in the last game. This time is every time you kill an enemy, a fly is added to the jar. And then you can add that up to be about 20 in the jar, and then you can choose to use them all at one time or just keep incrementally sending them out as you're killing enemies, which I found very, very useful. But, it's just crazy. There is just a ton of items. There's the Ventricle Razor, which is pretty much like a portal gun. It's even like the orange and blue doors, and you drop it in one place, and you could run over to a corner, fight off some guys, and then drop the other one, hop into that one, and come out behind all the enemies. And there's just crazy little stuff. There's these new sacks that are sometimes spawned, and random items come out of them, and also a lot of the items now work together. In the base game, it seemed annoying when you would, pick up the laser shot and then get bouncing shot, and then they wouldn't really work together. Now all of that stuff just works. You can create this super powered character that you never would have really been able to before. Which with everything working together, it's really neat. I have been playing a ton of this downloadable content, and I really recommend it to anybody. If you played a little bit of the base game and you haven't been able to get back into it, I would say jump into this. Or if you've never tried it before, this is an awesome place to jump in. Everything works together. You really wouldn't notice any difference at all jumping in. You'd barely even know that it's downloadable content. Everything works so well into the main game that it just fits perfectly. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you guys next time.